Check. Then the DBI effect is what we're talking about today, because I'm going to show you that sometimes it's the little things that can lead you into stuff like Zen. So you're going to want to stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So this video is inspired by the homie Clay. He had to call me out, but he's the homie. Clay says, don't fade the dev. We're down almost as much as Zendo Nakamoto, and he tagged me in. I hear you, Clay. DBI down, but not out. I'm gonna show you something. Bam, exhibit A. Did you see the chart? Now this looks bad, but you gotta measure it from the bottom. And if you do, you would realize, bam. As for the old time chart of DBI, from the time when we got in, we're still up 1,000%. I was buying DBI at these levels, 3 zeros, 4 zeros, and an 8.7 at one point. I had about 650,000 DBI tokens, close to 700k tokens. A lot of people don't realize I didn't hold 1 million DBI, but because I was so early in it, them 650,000 tokens turned into almost $12,000 when this run up happened. This is between December of 22 all the way to March of 2023, about a month before Zen reversed. And what happened was, when we ran up here and I made almost 12k on DBI, to this day, one of my biggest bags, if not the biggest in the game in a bear market. Sometimes it's the little things like this that can take you far. And look what I did with some of the earnings in DBI, from DBI. Bam. So if you come up here, you click gas spent history, right? Look at this. So I extracted a few ETH from DBI, and out of that $2,500 I took and I minted Zen on Ethereum right here. I put my money where my mouth is, bro. So yeah, I started minting heavily Zen on ETH gradually, and then the rest, the history, what happened. April, Zen reversed, and the rest was history. And that's from just watching signals and doing all this other stuff. Because Zen, when it first started, I made a video about it on the day at launch, but it was kind of boring to mint your vanillas, because who cares? But just vanillas. I'm like, man, I don't want to create 1,000 wallets just to do this. We need something. And then sure enough, the coin tool Zen batch minter thing came out. Once coin tool started, I made a video about it, and I just started minting coin tools here and there. I was mainly initially on Ethereum Zen. This is the one I did a lot, and Binance Zen. So a couple bands that I made from DBI helped me not only mint a lot of ETH Zen, which helped me in April because them short mints was so profitable. And here, bam, snack. I remember the video that I made, and I had like almost 1 million snack. This was like a few months later. Yeah, DBI did that from the gains. When I made that video and I bought 1 million snack live, because when I first made the snack video, it was like 4 zeros and or something, and it ran up to like 3 zeros and a 2. And I dropped the video, started buying snack here and there. But the big bag I put in, and I bought like 1 million snack on camera. Y'all seen that video? It was from DBI gains. This was 023, and look at this. Since then you still up on snack 44,000%, bro. Snack 8 a 0. When we started talking about it, it was at 3 zeros and a 1. It's literally at the 0.0034 now. So snack, you still up. DBI, you still up 1,000%. Snack, you up 44,000%. This is why I'm very selective of what I talk about over here. I don't come here just for views and clicks like them people that don't like me want to say, they'll tell you this, but that's a lie. Because if I was doing this for clicks and views, I'll be coming here every day. I don't even come up here every day. I used to do that back in 2020, and even back then I wasn't doing it for the clicks and views, because I was only getting like 50 views per video at the time. Right now we resorted back to that, which is a good thing, because the more you kind of concentrate your community and stay somewhere is the better for me, you know. And that's the kind of cool thing. I don't do this for clicks and views and money. That, like these liars, the people who hate me, they say that because that's what they, you know, it's within them, bro. They'll tell you that they're good Christians, but if your heart is not clean, you cannot be a good Christian, bro. You don't want what you want for yourself for a die, brother. But yeah, those are who those kind of people are. They all Ty Lopez wannabes and whatnot. I don't like people like that, bro. But yeah, this is the few selective things that I do. I don't come here and talk about different meme coins every single day. Every time people, that's why people jump on it, because every time they see, oh, whoop, Nakamoto got a new one, bam. And the new one turns out to be, you know, a good gem, because I don't come up every day and talk about new gems every single day, because it will oversaturate and you're going to over diversify and over dilute your fellow watchers and people who take action when they see me do certain things, right? Even though I always encourage people to do their own research, don't do what I'm doing. I'm just trying new things. I could be 100% wrong about this thing, and yeah, sometimes it happens. That's what you're supposed to say in crypto, to protect yourself, you know. Even though you know you have that conviction, this is crypto. At the end of the day, things can go wrong, you know, and that's the truth. That's what we all do. We just trying to. I've never been the know-it-all that came here and just like tried to act like I know everything and whatnot. But you know, DBI, getting back to that, inspired me to, you know, put that kind of bread into Zen and mint it, because I believe and that's what you're supposed to do, really, is to rotate some of your winnings into the next thing. You know, when you're a long-term investor, that's what you do. You can't just take profit and sit on your hands and do nothing with that money. That means you're going back into the fiat world, you know. All the large investors, that's pretty much how they move. They rotate some of their winnings into something else that they believe in long term, because I believe in Zen long term. This is not like an overnight thing. This is why you see me with Ethereum Zen, Binance Zen, or Matic Zen, or Base Zen, or whatnot. And yeah, I'm only on a few chains with Zen, but them the ones I stick with, like Optimism and whatnot. And yeah, you're supposed to rotate your winnings into stuff like this. And thanks to DBI, I was able to do that. Another cryptocurrency that I was able to buy, and that's shout out to Mr. Zuni for this one. He got me into this one so early, and we was up so big, and I made another $8,000 on that one, and that's BUY INU. Because Mr. Zuni hit me up I like December 22, beginning of 23 is like, Nak, you gotta get into this one. It's the biggest meme coin on Solana right now. I was like, bonk, and he's like, bonk, 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 bonk. And then, you know, once I got in, I bought a little bit, and then around March, April-ish, I bought a little bit more when it was, I saw the chart was just flat out. But then every time I looked at bonk and I researched it, it always have some kind of community and narrative behind it. I'm like, this one is looking more like a snack, so I gotta get me some bonk, you know. And then the rest is history. This is also from the DBI gains. So from DBI alone, making that little 12 band, which is not much. The money is not important, but just showing people that sometimes it could be the littlest play on your portfolio that multiplies in so many X's. Why? Because DBI was low supply, bro. You see this 1.4 billion, it wasn't like, it started at 2 billion as a max supply. The dev burned 500 million, a half a million in terms of supply, 500 million tokens. He just burnt it. Why? Because he crazy like that, you know. I like the dev, but yeah, he was the first one, and he's also the first one to say, you know what, all these meme coins got some kind of narrative attached to them, and they always got an animal attached to them. I'm just gonna put the face of a cat here, but I am the meme. He's the first one that did that. That's why I was kind of hooked, because he was an IRL character, and you never seen something like that in crypto. A walking, living meme that's actually a human being, and he was just making funny videos on X, and they were hitting, and he was getting more and more popular. And you seen guys like CZ of Binance even make a video and collab with the dev. You seen the altcoin Daily Brothers make a video and collab with the dev. That's power, you know. Who did that in terms of marketing? Like, you never seen another meme coin move like that, bro. That's how powerful this thing is. That's why to this day I pinned it right up here with this video just as a reminder that this dude, you know, came in with nothing. Nobody really believed in him, and he did it, man. That's the OG. I think he's one of my top devs, bro. If not the top, you know, come on. But yeah, shout out to DBI, man. And shout out to Clay too. I see you. But you know, it's the truth. I'm just telling my truth, bro. That's it. DBI inspired me to do all of these things. And yeah. That's it. Don't buy INU, man. Believe in it. And maybe one day it's gonna come back. The reason why it went down so much is because the dev left, because you know he was having his own mental issues. He didn't want to be famous too fast. He didn't want to be on the limelight too fast. He was dealing with his own personal stuff, and he kind of let us in with a little bit on his life story, and I kind of understood why. He's like, yo, you know what, I've had a rough life coming up, and it kind of hit me when I got this notoriety and this little popularity in crypto, and he just wasn't prepared to have that. That's why he walked away from that. And once he did, you know, the new dev came on and took on the stuff for a little while, and then it didn't kind of work. And then the real dev came back, and when he came back, the crypto game just wasn't the same. That's why I kind of think like that. But this thing, I still believe, if there's a slight chance for Ethereum to come back, this is gonna be a huge run. I'm telling you, bro. You might not want to fade this one. By that I mean no financial advice, but you might want a little bag of DBI just for insurance, because what it did when it ran up to 2.5 cents, everybody was like, man, we never seen something like this ever. And it did. It literally from the bottom, look at it, it's still up, even though people are not talking about it much. But DBI did that, man. So yeah, if you're talking about a XEN though, like for the last 2 years since April of 23, XEN, it didn't really perform much. Like people, some XEN on it and some chains are like you can be profitable in certain stuff like that, but I'm talking about the massive runs, like them reversal runs, like what DBI did, or even what XEN did back in April of 2023. You haven't seen that reversal back yet. That's why people are kind of like that, you know. But you know, hey, maybe X1 could reverse that. Maybe it's gonna create some market demand and whatnot. But what I see with X1 though is, and we need some kind of a structure in terms of concentration. We need a sense of who did I said this on somebody's channel. Benito, shout out to Benito, man. I was on live with Benito. I said, listen, bro, with X1, I'm gonna be honest, we have no sense of direction at this point. And he's like, yeah, it does seem like that. I say, exactly. And we out there calling other blockchains mediocre and this and that, but we're not sure which technology are we gonna use. You know, that's kind of not fair, because you calling other blockchains mediocre instead of focusing on X1 and bringing out the technology, but your technology is not out yet. And when we look into X1, you realize, you know, dynamic base fees, or for example verifiable random functions and all these things, is taken from the same blockchains that you're calling mediocre. So that's an oxymoron. Those things don't go together, you know. That's the truth. If you're calling something else mediocre, you better be coming up with a technology that's far superior and much better than the very thing you call it mediocre. But I don't understand how you're calling stuff mediocre, but then you're taking from the same mediocre stuff. You're borrowing concept and technology and ideology from them, and you slapping it on your blockchain, doing the foo-foo stuff. That's why I call it the foo-foo blockchain, because we having the Naija foo-foo blockchain. That's why X1 is like that. So we don't know is it gonna be XNM gonna be integrated in it. Tomorrow is like, okay, we're doing Cardano now, verifiable random functions, right? And then the next day is like, okay, cool, maybe we lack one day is gonna like a few things or two from Sui, and then we might pivot over there too. So yeah, it's a foo-foo blockchain. When you're creating the foo-foo blockchain, you're doing the Control-C, Control-V thing. I think it's best to just focus on the tech until the thing fully comes out, and then people will be the judge, because I want to see it up here. You know, I want to see it, I don't know, defeat the Solanas and be better tech. what is the Doge chain has a chain? Yeah, that does. Maybe X1 will beat that too. Tron and all these other large caps. That's where I want to see X1, because they were so busy for many months calling everything else mediocre, but yet you haven't came up with something fully, or if you do, it's taking from the very mediocre stuff, you're taking their technology and slapping it into yours. I say focus on building X1 until it fully comes out, because it's gonna benefit Zen and everything else will go back up. That's where I see it, bro. I'm not ready to call Sonic mediocre and all these other things mediocre. No, wait until this thing come out. If it becomes better than Sonic, and speaking of Sonic, if you look at Sonic, like look at the Sonic testnet, man, it's like billions. A lot of money is locked in there, bro. And you had a lot of builders on testnet willing to do everything, just build stuff because they believe in Andre Cronje. I don't see that kind of vibe on X1 yet. I don't see like many builders coming in like testnet doing stuff like that on X1. I don't see that yet. That's why I'm telling people like, yo, man, listen, you might not want to be super hyper about this stuff. This dude is just trying to figure some stuff out. You might not want to be the hype Zenian that's calling everything else mediocre, because if your blockchain comes out and it's mediocre, I said this last year, people don't like it, especially Zen Maxi. They don't like to hearing the truth, but it's the truth. If your stuff comes out and it's mediocre and you spend 2 years calling everything else mediocre, then all gloves are off. Whoever punched you, I'm gonna stand over there and say, yep, you deserve it, because you was making a mockery of these people, and you haven't even figured out your own stuff yet. You haven't figured out X1 yet. And that's the thing. This thing needs patience. Software is hard. Shout out to Richard Hart. He used to say this a long time ago. So focus on software, building this blockchain out, and make it as impeccable as possible. Because if X1 wins, we all win. It's going to be the end all be all blockchain that's going to take over the thing. I wish it is, but I don't see it as of yet. We need more in terms of tech. We need more in terms of building. I don't see like what Sui and them are doing. When you look at it, when you look into their technology and how they're trying to capture the crowd, I don't see that coming into X1. The base chain, which is a layer 2, super centralized and all this other stuff, they have more people than X1, you know? Like right now is the perfect time to capture from all of those other blockchains and bring them over to, but I don't see that. You know, it's the perfect time to do it now, because retail is not into crypto. They left. They're not gonna come back until they see here green candles. Once they start seeing green candle, you're gonna see people slowly come back into retail. So right now is the best time to be capturing all of these ones from Solana, Dogecoin, and all these other communities, and bring them over to X1 to do that. Like Sonic, come on, I'm watching it on testnet and they doing such amazing jobs to the point where they have hundreds of developers, bro, ready to build all kinds of stuff built over there. That's why their TVL is so large. And that was on testnet, you know? Yeah, just the truth. We need to focus on this thing and roll it out first. Then we can come out and brag in front of the world. But as of now, I'm not calling any other blockchain mediocre until it comes out. Until it comes out and shows it's not mediocre, it's superior tech and it's better than everything else. That's the actual factual. Hey, like up the video, share it, subscribe for some crypto content. I have been Mr. Nakamoto Crypto, and I'm out.